Welcome to Binge Watchers, where we talk about the stories and characters we love and the shows they live in. My name is Ron, and I kind of want to maybe find something else to say at the beginning of every video. It's been almost like 300 videos, I think, where I said that line, and I'm probably gonna keep saying it for at least 300 more. But yeah, maybe it's time to start thinking about something new. It is Sunday, so you know what that means. You don't, because there is no consistency whatsoever on this channel, which I truly apologize for. But what I wanted to do is just talk about the shows that we plan on watching this week. I'll talk about the shows that I'm planning on watching. You'll tell me in the comments down below what you're planning on watching or what you have been watching and what you're excited about, and we'll take it from there. So there's a lot going on right now in the TV hype world. The thing that I'm probably most excited about is season 2 of The Handmaid's Tale. You thought I was gonna say Westworld, but I'm actually not that excited about that. Season 1 of Westworld, I liked it, but it was also such a weird experience because I was watching the show and I was like, this is so beautiful and amazing, but also why am I bored? I'm not saying that all of it was boring. I'm not even saying that it was a boring show. It wasn't. It was great. But like there are big chunks in there where nothing happens. But you know, beautiful, beautiful nothing. Like well acted, well produced nothing. I still think that as a whole, season 1 of Westworld was engaging and impressive, and any scene with Anthony Hopkins was breathtaking. So just for those things alone, I'm definitely gonna give season 2 a chance. I'm just not super hyped for it. The Handmaid's Tale was my personal #1 pick for my favorite shows of 2017. So yeah, I'm excited for season 2. I honestly think it was one of the most powerful shows I've ever watched. I loved it so much, and I'm definitely, I don't know if Hulu's dropping all of the episodes at once, kind of Netflix style, but if they don't, I'm probably gonna wait so I could watch more than one episode at a time, because I'm not gonna be able to take it. As far as the things that I've been watching and plan on watching, there's quite a bit. I just finished watching a show called Requiem. It's a BBC and Netflix show. It's 6 episodes. It's kind of like a psychological thriller, supernatural, creepy type vibe. I just finished kind of working on my review for it. I can't say that I loved it. It's a genre that I really like. And 2 other shows in this genre that I really like are The Kettering Incident and Dark. And both of those shows are fantastic. And Requiem was not quite at that level. So I'll be posting my review for that this week, and if you have watched it, I'd love to know your thoughts about it. I know that I kind of spoiled the review by saying that I didn't love the show, but I did have some thoughts, especially about the main character. There were 2 other shows that I've been watching, and I plan on finishing those seasons this week, and those were The Alienist and season 1 of The Sopranos. More on that in a little bit. The Alienist tells the story of a doctor in the 1890s in New York who gets obsessed with the serial killer who preys on children, and he's trying to basically track this person down, not by investigating how he does these crimes, but why. And as the show tells you repeatedly, back then, people who had mental illnesses were considered alienated from their true natures. So experts in the field are called alienists. And I'm about halfway through with The Alienist. I think I kind of love it. I'm not sure. I think I kind of love it though. It's weird because, I mean, the reason that I'm not sure that I love it is because it is such a familiar story. I was just talking about this with a friend of mine about how many shows out there today are essentially the exact same story about a detective type character who is, you know, detecting. Like there's a crime and we have to figure out this crime or thing little by little, and then every episode we get one more piece of the puzzle until there's a big reveal, and that's it. And that is a fantastic formula that has worked for countless shows. So like, don't get me wrong, I love a good mystery, but I mean, it's almost every drama nowadays is that. So I did kind of backfill my list of shows that I plan on watching with shows that I think that are different from that, like the O.J. Simpson show, American Crime Story, The People vs. O.J. Simpson, and Rectify, and a bunch of others. So with The Alienist, it is that story. They're trying to figure it out, but I mean, everything is just done so well. The sets and the vibe, and the show is shot so beautifully. Sometimes when you watch a show, it feels that maybe because they didn't have enough time to like properly shoot every episode, because each one of these episodes is essentially a movie, so maybe they didn't have enough time to be precise and thoughtful about every frame and every shot. But in The Alienist, the cinematography plays such a big role. It contributes so much to the vibe of the story, to the atmosphere. So while the story is interesting, the way that the show is shot is just makes the show so much more engaging to watch. The story itself, as I mentioned, I mean, so far I'm about halfway through. It's kind of what you would expect. It's very straightforward. There's a thing we're trying to figure out, let's try and figure this thing out. But the show relies more heavily on how unique the characters are. So I'm pretty excited about this show as I'm watching it. It just, I mean, I think that outside of the US, it's on Netflix. I'm watching it on Netflix. I don't know if it's also on Netflix in the US. I think I'm reaching that point in the show where they could either take a really bad turn into something super predictable, or they can just maintain the line, and then I'm pretty sure that I'll love it. But maybe more interestingly, I decided to rewatch season 1 of The Sopranos. I've watched all seasons of The Sopranos, but I watched them, I think, maybe like 10 years ago, and honestly, I think I was too young to appreciate that show. And I saw it kind of popping up on my Amazon Prime thing, and I was like, And since I did the same thing with The Wire a while ago, I wanted to see how The Wire held up, so I watched it. I did make a review for season 1. I wanted to do the same for The Sopranos. And it is such a different show than the show I remembered. I don't know why, but I remembered The Sopranos as this like heavy drama that, you know, that you had to be super invested in every episode to get through it. I really don't know why that's the way I remembered it, because this is a fun show. I mean, obviously The Sopranos is a beautiful show with beautifully crafted characters and fascinating stories that are heavy, dramatic stories, but it's all packaged in this dark comedy almost. And I'm sure that any of you that have watched The Sopranos recently enough to like fully remember everything is like, yeah. But I just did not, like, I remembered the big pieces, I remembered like the big events, but I didn't remember the feel of the show. I'm not sure that I'll make a season 1 video about The Sopranos. I think I'll watch season 2 and even maybe 3 again before I make a video, because like any season 1, you can see that this was where the show was kind of figuring itself out. And there were a few things, I know like that I'm not allowed to say anything critical about The Sopranos or Breaking Bad, but here and there you can still see some editing techniques or some of the writing be just a little bit awkward. And it was fascinating because these are things that you see in other big shows since then, and you see how they've taken that and sort of perfected it. Like in The Sopranos, there's a bit of a tendency that some characters, especially Tony, talk in monologues a little bit, and these are always beautifully written, masterfully acted monologues, but sometimes they contrast it with some of these characters being portrayed as, you know, like not the brightest, and then the next scene they give some monologue about the depth of the human soul. And it's absolutely a pleasure to watch, but it is interesting to see how these types of things are pulled off better, even from episode to episode. So I really want to see season 2 again, and then yeah, I'll make a video about it. 2 shows that I also finished watching a few weeks ago was the first half of season 5 of Vikings, which I talked about a little bit in another video. I thought it was good. I mean, I think the show is still the best of its kind on TV, but I think it's also past its prime. And I also finished season 2 of The Expanse, which I loved and I wanted to make a video about, but then I felt that I was kind of saying the same things that I did about season 1. But I want to rethink that, because I actually do think I have some more things to say. And for the next shows that I plan on watching, I'm actually not sure. I mean, I do have a list of the shows that I plan on watching, but I almost always end up ignoring that list and just, you know, something catches my eye and then I just start with that. I think that I want to keep going with this revisiting great old shows thing, so I was thinking maybe Deadwood. And now that we got a few people on the Patreon, I'm gonna do a monthly like hangout TV show club thing. So I was thinking maybe we revisit some of those shows and then discuss them. Like we're not gonna watch the whole season, but maybe we'll watch a few episodes and then we'll have a discussion about those. I think that could be really fun. Also, you know what popped into my mind recently? Penny Dreadful. A bunch of you have been asking me about this show, and if I watched it, I have watched season 1. I remember absolutely loving it, but it was before I even started Binge Watchers, and I don't like making videos about shows that I watched so long ago that I can't really remember any nuance about characters. So I was thinking about revisiting that show as well, because I think that was the last show I watched before I started Binge Watchers. I should have made a review for it back then, but it would have been terrible. Go back and watch my first video, and it's bad. Welcome everybody to the place where we can talk about TV. And for a baby update, I don't have a baby update. I'm just excited. I like talking about it. I'm gonna have 2 baby girls. I'm gonna have 2 identical baby twin girls. So I'm just gonna say that every now and then. I did find a onesie on Amazon that says, "Call me Stormageddon, Dark Lord of all," which I appreciate. That's all I got for you this time. This was fun. Usually I kind of script out my videos a little bit because English is not my first language and it's a little bit hard for me to just improvise in English, which is what I did this time. I just kind of turned the camera on and started talking. But yeah, let's do more of this. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and you can find me on TV Time and Twitter and Instagram, link to everything down below, including our Discord server where we chat about TV and it's a lot of fun. You can also support the channel on Patreon where we have all sorts of like exclusive behind the scenes stuff. Like, yeah, I don't know why I said that way. And if you're finding Binge Watchers for the first time, welcome. I'd like to invite you to join the Binge Watchers community. Come talk about TV with us. It's a lot of fun. Subscribe to the channel. But in any case, keep binging, and I will see you next time.